Hey everyone, we're going to talk about in-text citation today. You've just finished Station 1, hopefully, and you've learned or reviewed about making good source citations. And those are the types of citations that go at the end of your project or your paper in your works cited page. And now we're going to talk about something a little more specific that is a little new to you, but you still have seen it last year if you were seventh graders here last year at GMSS, and that's something called in-text citation. In-text citation or parenthetical citation shows that you have quality research. And again, we're talking about branding our research, making sure people know it's top-notch and quality. And you do that using in-text citation because it connects your source citations to the place in your writing in which you have used that research so that you can locate exactly where each piece of information came from in your paragraph. And we're going to talk about that a little bit right now. Let's take a look at this right here. In-text citations go at the end of a sentence, just before the period. So when you're making an in-text citation, and I have an example here, I was writing a paper on the nutritional value of fast food. And on the McDonald's website, I found their nutritional facts for the artisan grilled chicken sandwich. So in my paper, one of my sentences said, McDonald's artisan grilled chicken sandwiches have 19 grams of fat. Now, I didn't take that sandwich to a laboratory and find out how much fat it had. I found it on the McDonald's website. So right there in my paper, right in my paragraph, in that sentence, after I've stated that fact that did not come from my head but came from a source, I let the reader know where it came from. And I do that by adding some information called an in-text citation that helps drop the breadcrumbs that will lead the readers back to the works cited page in the exact place or the source that it came from. For example, it came from this source citation, McDonald's Nutritional Calculator, the McDonald's website, which was published on the 29th of August, 2016. And here's the link. Newsflash, newsflash, newsflash. We want to let you know that we are now adding the URL back to the end of a citation. That's new. We do that for one really good reason in particular, and that when your teacher is reading your paper, particularly if it's uploaded in a digital form, your teacher now can click on the link just like this, right? And then go right to that website, to the page that you were at, finding that information. And now they can see if that information on the website matches what's in your paper. So it's a good way of teachers to kind of double check to make sure that your facts are matching your source. So it's going to hold you guys a little more accountable. It's going to make it easier for your teacher to find that information that you're using and where it came from. So this is a source citation that would be on a works cited page. And see how it begins with McDonald's Nutritional Calculator? That's the title of the article. There's no author. When there's no author, you begin with the title. So we have it in quotation marks, right? Okay, and so here it is written in my paragraph. If this were a paragraph, my sentence within that paragraph says McDonald's artisan grilled chicken sandwiches has 19 grams of fat. Parentheses, quotation marks, McDonald's Nutritional Calculator, quotation marks, parentheses, and a period. So I put that title just the way I found it in my works cited page, within the quotation marks, right? Because that was on the works cited page, within parentheses and a period. Now, the period comes after the parentheses because that lets the reader know that everything that was written in this sentence comes from this source that's in parentheses. Okay? Let's look at another one. Here, this one came from a book. You were mistaken, said Voldemort. This came from a book written by J.K. Rowling on page 44. Our first parenthetical or in-text citation didn't have a page number because websites normally don't have page numbers. If there's a page number, put it in your parenthetical citation because then it leads the reader even more specifically to the place where the information came from. But if you do not have a page number, don't make it up, leave it blank. Notice we don't have a P in front of the page number. The reader automatically knows those numbers indicate a page number. So what does it look like on a works cited page? This would be my citation. J.K. Rowling, the book Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, the publisher, and the date. I use in my parenthetical citation just the author's last name. But by doing that, I can find the book or the website on the Works Cited page, and it'll take me to the title. Now, you may not have known that that came from page 444 of the Half-Blood Prince book, but because we had the name of the author, we could go back up to the Works Cited page, find the actual print source citation, locate the title of the book, and you can find the book online or in the library, turn to page 444, and I guarantee you this sentence is in there somewhere on that page. All right. Let's take a look at how it looks in an actual paragraph. All right. And my software cuts it off a little bit, so I'm sorry about that, but we'll do our best with what we have. Yeah, I can't expand it anymore. All right, so here's a paragraph that I wrote. Is global warming real? Scientists certainly believe it's true. So what causes the Earth to get warmer? The Earth's temperature rises when greenhouse gases, but I could make it smaller. Here, even better. Okay, are emitted into the atmosphere. The Earth's temperature rises when greenhouse gases are emitted into the atmosphere. Parentheses, 2 authors' names, and a page number. So now I can go back to my Works Cited page. The authors were David and Gordon. I'm going to look for a Works Cited that has authors David and Gordon. 2 authors, both just their last names. And this is the book it came from. Now I can go to that book, open it up, turn to page 27, and this sentence should be somewhere either summarized or paraphrased on that page. The next sentence I write, since 1990, yearly emissions have gone up by about 6 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent worldwide, more than 20% increase. Parentheses, and then I have a title in quotation marks with the period. So this source that I hopefully can find on my Works Cited page is the source where the information from this sentence comes from. I didn't measure metric tons of carbon dioxide, so obviously it came from somewhere else, not my head. So I go to the Works Cited page and I look for a citation that has global warming causes. I've got 2 that start with global warming, and at the second one, global warming causes, climate change causes, National Geographic. That's a super long title. When you have a super long title, you may go ahead and cut it down to as few words as you'd like so that it makes sense and the reader can still find it on your Works Cited page. Use your best judgment. Now, if I would have cut it off at the end of warming, that would have really confused my readers because then there had been 2 titles, global warming. So I added the causes, so now that it's perfectly clear to the reader that the information from this sentence came from that second citation, global warming causes. And again, I have the URL at the end, and the teacher or the reader now can click on it and go directly to that page and find that information that I've just been talking about in my paper. My next one says, Richard Buckley explains that because CO2 stays in the atmosphere for decades, that half of CO2 you put in your atmosphere today will still be there when your grandchildren are born. 102. Why would I just put 102? Can you think of a reason why? If it was because you said because Richard Buckley's name or the person who wrote the information is already written in my sentence, you're 100% correct. Parenthetical citation is not supposed to be hard. The main purpose of it is to help get the reader to the citation on the Works Cited page so they can find the source where your good and interesting information came from. We've already told the reader in this sentence that this information has come from Richard Buckley. So at the end of the sentence, since it came from a book, we only have to put the page number because the reader already knows. We don't have to make extra work for ourselves. So now we go to our Works Cited page. Richard Buckley is the author. This is the book. If it's online, I can find it online and turn to page 102, or if it's in a library and I want to go check it out, I can do that as well. If it was a website and there was no page number, then this would not be here at all. We would just go find the citation that linked us to Richard Buckley's website, and then we would find this information on Richard Buckley's website. But because it's a book and we have a page number, we add the page number there. You understand? Let's look at one more. The rise in the atmosphere of greenhouse gases and the rise in the amount of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere and the length of time it stays there directly impacts global warming. Again, I did not think that up. I got it from this site. I should be able to take this information that I see, research areas, go to my works cited page and find a citation that matches that begins the same way. And sure enough, research areas. It's a website with no author, so the title is what I use in my citation, and I use as my indicator or my words in my parenthetical citation. And if I were to click on this, it would take me to that website, to the exact page where I found my information. So again, in our actual paragraph, everything that is on this side of the period comes from research areas, right? From here all the way to here comes from this source, research areas. Okay, so our big ideas are: you use the first words of a website or a citation that does not have an author. You put it in parentheses and a period at the end. If it's a book that has an author, you use just their last name and the page number if you have it, within parentheses, and then a period at the end. That's all you need to do to make a really good in-text citation. So now I'm going to leave it to you. You have a task setting at your desk at Station 2. Go ahead and give it a try, and when you're done doing it, come see me.